How hating your job hurts you. This is for Black women in toxic jobs. I'm referring to a video that I recently saw on YouTube that was really good. I will put that video in the description section. The video is Should You Quit Your Job? How to Get Out of a Bad Job Before It's Too Late. And this is by Woohoo Inc. So, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do my version in terms of a reaction video to his video. And his video is very long, so it's in different chapters. I'm going to have different reaction videos to his video from the Black woman's perspective. Okay, so in terms of the key points he's talking about, which he's citing different research, I have had other videos talking about research, really highlighting ways that a toxic job can harm you. So I want to share with you in terms of what he also shared. Again, this is research saying ways that a toxic job can harm you. My videos, the hope is that you watch my videos and that these videos provide an opportunity for you to self-reflect on your own experiences and for you to self-reflect on if this is the life that you want for yourself. Okay. So, chapter 3. How hating your job hurts you. Okay, so he again is citing research. I'm going to talk about it from the Black woman's perspective. So, number one, he mentioned that hating your job hurts you because it hurts your health. He talked about ways that job strain can impact your physical health. So, when you think about stress and cortisol, all that cortisol is going through your body, just streaming through your body. And if we think about that, our organs are being bathed in this cortisol. I referenced a previous video where I talked about weathering, and weathering deals with when you are in very stressful situations, how your organs can age. Okay, so you might be one age, but you are aging because of the stress. Okay, so for us to keep in mind that the job strain can contribute to poor physical health outcomes because, again, you're constantly being immersed in stress, and being under constant stress can impact your immune system. Okay, so that's one. Number two, hating a job can impact your health because it impacts your sleep. So think about if you're stressed out, sometimes it's hard to fall asleep. When you're sleeping, you're still thinking about stuff, you're still processing stuff. You might be processing what happened at the toxic job, what somebody might have said to you, how somebody treated you, maybe things that you still have to take care of. Maybe you're overworking to try to compensate for things in terms of people seeing you in a negative light. So you're trying to prove your worth to them, which is a losing battle. It really is, because that is not going to change how they view you. They will continue to exploit your labor. And it's not about your worth. You are inherently worthy. The fact that you even have that job shows that you clearly have what it takes. But you have insecure people at the job who are threatened by you. And so they are intimidated by you. So they are constantly trying to make you feel like you need to prove your worth to some external source. And many times these external people, they're not even worthy. They're not even competent. Okay. So keep in mind what I talked about before in terms of projected incompetence. That's when people try to project their own incompetence onto you. Learn to identify what that is so that you don't start questioning yourself. You don't go in this self-gaslighting of yourself. Okay. Very important. The other thing is 3, it makes you gain weight. So I've taken you with me on my fluffy challenge. I've talked to you about how I gained a lot of weight at that previous toxic job, particularly towards the end, as I was trying to find ways to self-soothe, and I was engaging in emotional eating and comfort eating, making homemade macaroni and cheese and skillet cornbread, all that kind of stuff. Okay. It makes you gain weight. So that cortisol and just the all that stress contributes to weight gain. And then the other thing is that he talked about with the research that when you're experiencing a lot of stress, that mental exhaustion that you have at the toxic job can cause you to not have the energy to even think about healthy life choices because you're so stressed out about the toxic job, and or you are so exhausted thinking about the toxic job that you may not even have the energy to work out because you're exhausted, you're tapped out. Okay, what you want to do at the end of the day is, do some comfort eating, binge watching some TV, hear about people going to happy hours and all that kind of stuff. These are unhealthy ways for us to cope. Okay, so that's another thing. And then number 4, in that video, should you quit your job, how to get out of a bad job before it's too late. Number 4, he mentioned and cited research in terms of being at a bad job or a toxic job increases your risk of depression and burnout. Okay, so depression can look different for us. So it could be that sense of dread. So I've talked about this before. I've had other Black women on my channel talk about this before. But that sense of you wake up and it's this dread that you have to go back to that place. I talk also about Sundays at 5 o'clock, was just the worst time of the week for me because I knew I had to go back to that toxic place. The depression for you and other Black women I've heard could be crying on your way to work, crying leaving work. You're masking all day at work because you're trying to, you're under attack. So you're trying to act like things are okay, but you're dying inside. Okay. So if the mask came off, you would be just crying. Okay. But that's not a safe place for you to do that. And so the depression, again, might look like that. It might look like sleeping difficulties. It might look like overeating. It might look like social isolation. You have time for nobody because you are so consumed with what's happening at that job that you just want to stay to yourself. You may be very irritable or agitated. So again, it might come out in different ways, okay? The other thing he mentioned, and I've talked about this before, number 5, is that being in a toxic job, hating your job can harm your relationship. So I've talked about this in terms of when you think about a toxic job, when you think about a bad job, it can spill over to your personal life. So those who care about you, those who love you are impacted. So they are seeing what's happening to you. They are harmed by that because that hurts them, seeing that you are hurting, and they feel helpless and hopeless that they can't help you. Also, it may impact relationships in the sense of causing strain in your relationship. So let's say you're irritable or, little things set you off, or maybe something that you maybe had the beat down at the job. And so if you perceive something in your personal life as similar in some kind of way to the beat down you were getting at the job, you might overreact in some ways. Okay. So it might impact your relationships. And then 6, it can harm your career, which you might think, wait a minute, I thought that I needed to stay at this toxic job because it would look bad if I kept jumping from job to job to job to job. However, what he was mentioning, and I encourage us to think about this, if you stay at a toxic job, and like I talked about what he mentioned in terms of the research, I've talked about this as well. If you're at a toxic job and you're experiencing these things that were mentioned, right? So the stress, the your physical health is impacted. So you are using those so-called benefits, good benefits of the job, because the job is making you sick. Okay. You are agitated, you're having difficulty sleeping. So we know when we have difficulty sleeping, that impacts our concentration, that impacts our work performance. If you're also experiencing the depression and anxiety and the burnout that was mentioned, that's going to affect your work performance. So if you stay in these environments, all these things in terms of the toll is going to impact your work performance. So if that impacts your work performance, and then that will then impact your career as well. So that will impact your career in a negative way more so than going to a different job, because you can't perform your best if you're not feeling your best. Okay. So just keep that in mind. And when you think about the stress, the burnout, let us be mindful of what are some ways that we can start recognizing that a job is harming us earlier on, so that we can start doing things to start strategizing about our way out, so the stress and the burnout doesn't contribute to negative work performance, and it really undermines your ability to find a job that's less toxic, a job that pays at least as much you're getting or more. It undermines your ability to do that because you are maybe taken out by the stress. So there might be people that you even know in your own life. I know that I have encountered people who, the terminology is not, correct, but you might hear people say, oh, she had a nervous breakdown because of that job. And some people I have known have never been able to rebound because of what has happened to them at a toxic job. And we don't want that to happen to you. So be mindful of all these things I just talked about. Again, the research is out there that says that hating a job, being in a toxic job and hating it, can really impact you in very serious ways. So I'm sharing this with you because I want you to take this seriously. I want you to keep in mind the Black women that I've talked about before, the 3 Black women that we've recently lost because of these high profile situations. We don't know everything in terms of what's contributing, but just think about, they were all in high profile, stressful jobs. Okay. So let us be mindful of centering ourselves, recognize that we are not the job. The job is something that we do for money. And as Stephanie Perry talks about too, a job is a means to an end. A job is for us to make money, to live our lives. A job does not define us. Okay. We are so much bigger than a job. So let us center ourselves, our wellness. And if you're in a situation where you are recognizing that the job is harming you and you want to get out, but you don't know how, please reach out to me. Okay. So book a discovery call. The link is in the description section. We can talk about, let's come up with your exit strategy. You can come up with it. You might need some help in terms of getting to that North Star, like Harriet Tubman. Okay. So we're going to channel that inner Harriet so that you can get out with your sanity and your physical health, which is so important. That's the priority. Okay. So as I'm signing off, please give this video a thumbs up. Also, if you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Lifting As We Climb Consulting Wellness Services. And I'm asking you to please share this video with at least 1 or 2, let's say 2. Let's say 2 other Black women. Share this video with at least 2 other Black women, because I want to usher in a movement. No, I am ushering in a movement for Black women to leave and heal from toxic jobs, okay? Our ancestors have paid the price for us to be here. They've gone through so much for us to be here, and that it is not in honor of them that we stay in toxic jobs. We deserve so much better. We can get so much better. We have options. Even though it may not feel like you have options, you do have options, okay? So explore what those options might be. But the most important thing is that I need for you to center your health and pay attention to how the job is impacting you, okay? Okay, so I'm signing off. Again, give this video a thumbs up. If you have not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. Lifting As We Climb Consulting Wellness Services, and share this video with at least 2 other Black women. Okay, take care. Bye-bye.